Welcome back to Proxy, everybody. And today I have Jake here with me with the new Adept Roll app that he's been rolling out. And guys, I have to say, this is one of the best apps that I've used for my Mathammer needs. How are you doing today, Jake?
I'm good, thanks. It's pretty warm here for the UK, which is we don't cope very well with it. But yes, I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. How many degrees is it over there on the other side of the pond?
It's 20. Well, it's been 28 in the day here, but that's in Celsius, which is 82 Fahrenheit,
It's a bit
which
hotter
is
than here, which is weird because I live in California and it's usually super hot. We had 100 degrees the other day and I was just like in my garage cleaning. I was like, God,
yeah,
like
yeah. We don't have the AC that you have as well, so we struggle with it. Yeah, we've started this interview, and being a Brit, we've talked about the weather almost instantly.
well, that does make sense. I do speak to a lot of people from the UK, and usually the first thing they come up with is the weather. So,
Yeah.
that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. All right, man. Well, you reached out to me a little while back, and you reached out to me with this fantastic app, Adept Roll. And when you sent me that first email, I have to admit, before I tried it, I was a little bit skeptical. But then I looked into it, and I've been using nothing since, except for your app. I think it's the cleanest software that I've used personally for all my Mathhammer needs, list building and stuff like that. I use it quite a bit in the background of my own channel to kind of inform myself on the different, synergies and combos and different things you can do in the game. And what inspired you to kind of come up with it? What was the inspiration behind it? What's its background and stuff like that?
So I first did a. I suppose the first version was probably what most people do is you start in Google Sheets or Excel and you create some columns and you create some columns for ballistic skill and strength and AP and you start putting some formulas in and that's probably what I first did for Mathhammer maybe like 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago when I first started playing 40k. Um, and that stuff's fine, but anyone that's tried that, it becomes very difficult quite quickly when you start adding in rerolls ones, and then with 10th edition and all these other modifiers that get really complicated with sustained hits and devastating wounds. It was to solve my own problem initially because I couldn't do all of these complex things in Excel or Google Sheets. So it was born out of necessity. And the first version I did, it was just before COVID, and it was very simple. Nothing like this new version. And it did okay. And then I think I stopped playing 40k for a bit, and then I thought one day I'm going to try this again, and I that's when Adept Roll was born. And I started building it about a year ago, actually, in June last year, and launched it in August last year. Um, yeah,
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, I was always a pen and paper kind of guy, like calculator, bust out the old calculator. But like you said, 10th edition has so many variables in it. And really ninth as well. For the past few editions, we've had things like sustained hits, lethal hits, dev wounds. We've had +1 to wound, -1 to wound. We have all these, different modifiers, and it can get a little bit much, you know. So the fact that you were able to kind of start this up and compile it and have an app that first of all works beautifully, basically no
thank you.
errors. you know Honestly, I mean, a lot of big time developers can't even say that. So what you've been able to do with the app is actually fantastic. It's tremendous. It's a definite sign of your skills with software. And
Thank you.
absolutely, dude. Um, Let me ask you this: if somebody were to want to get the app for their math hammer needs, how would they go about doing that?
So it's on Android and iOS. It's free to download. Just search for Adept Roll, and then you've got it. It has a subscription model in there that unlocks all the features which I'm sure we'll go over a bit later on. But you get a 7 day free trial as well, so you can try it for 7 days, and it's not very expensive at about, I think it's like £4 a year. So like the cost of a cup of coffee to have an all-in-one Mathammer app in the palm of your hand, I think is quite a good deal. Yeah, so it's available on both stores. It works exactly the same on iOS and Android. It's just had a major update. The first version was a bit clunky. Launched in August. I must shout out to my wife, who is a graphic designer, who has been through it with me and made it nice and pretty. I can make it work, but I can't make it pretty. So we spent a long time going through it together, which was fun and frustrating. And now it's this new version, which is like black and yellow in dark mode, is night and day compared to how it first launched, which worked, but it just wasn't a nice experience. So yeah, shout out to her for she's as much a part of it as I am. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shout out to, the misses there for helping out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks fantastic. Honestly, the update makes it look really streamlined, really professional. And honestly, functionality wise, it worked perfectly before, but yeah, it does look a lot sleeker now. So yeah, so really easy to get, guys. Just go onto the App Store, iOS or, Android, right? Super easy to get, very affordable. Honestly, I would easily pay the amount of money that you charge for yearly subscription. It essentially saves you a ton of time doing your own Mathammer stuff. It's very easy and fun to use. Um, so let's, I guess, go into some of the core features. So if somebody was to download this, what could they expect out of the app?
So I think the main thing that sets it apart from other things out there there aren't really any. I don't think there's any on iOS. I think there might be one or two on Android, but they're not up to date. And certainly different from ones that are on the web is the import feature. So if you subscribe, then you can go to a faction. All the units are there. You tap on a unit, or you can just t- tap toggle all and import them all. And you import them all, and then you've got your entire faction of units there with their weapons, with their weapon names, with their modifiers, whether they're modifiers for weapons, or whether they're global modifiers for a unit. You can have modifiers per weapon or for an entire unit. So that means you can go from having nothing to having all your go-to units in the app ready to go. And then you can also do the same with importing defenders. So if you are, constantly playing against Space Marines or Tyranids, then you can go and import Tyranids, and then you can start simulating attacks into Tyranids because you face a lot of Tyranids. So I think straight off the bat, that's the first thing that sets it apart and that people will go to. Of course, you can input your attackers, your number of attacks, ballistic skill, strength, but that's much slower. And then from there, once you've got your profiles, you can then start running simulations, and that's the core, I'd say, flow of the app is importing units, running simulations, viewing the results. There are a lot of other things sort of in the app as well, but that's going to be the core flow for most people, which is good because that's what Mathammer is. It's pitting one thing against another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, competitively speaking, I think it's safe to say if you are interested in playing competitive games of Warhammer 40K, you need to have a working idea of what your unit is good at killing, what the unit's role is on the battlefield, as far as its damage dealt and stuff like that. So these kind of, apps really make a big difference. And actually, for as long as I remember, Mathhammer has been a thing in the Warhammer 40K community that a lot of people, swear by. It's like the unofficial god of 40K. in a lot of
Yes,
ways.
yeah, yeah, and I think as well, it somebody asked me like, "Have you protected it? Have you protected this?" And I was like, "No, because it's as old as the game is. There's nothing there to. It's just part of the game. It's you know you can't protect it because it is just maths, and it everyone knows what it is. And I do get criticism about the approach because it ruins the game and it's competitive. And but I think we're always doing Mathhammer even if we're not competitive, because you look at the battlefield and you go, I'm going to shoot my 10 bolters into the orcs because that's more effective than shooting 10 bolters into um, a, a, a death thread.
Right.
So you're always doing it because that's the nature of the game. If you're not doing that, then you're probably never going to win, or never have an effective strategy on the tabletop. So it's an
Absolutely.
extreme version of Mathhammer, but it makes it accessible. I've had people who say I'm new to Warhammer and I now understand the whole rock paper scissors aspect of it a lot better because I can use a deck roll to understand that. So, and also veteran gamers find it useful as well because they can run these things much more easily, and new players can do the same. But it gives them like a better understanding of what does devastating wounds actually mean on the tabletop.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, surprisingly, I mean, this is coming from me who teaches math on a daily basis as my job. It's a lot of people don't actually know math that well. So having something like this is really important. And I can tell you the number of times I've gone up to a table at my local game store, played a random pickup game against somebody. It's a casual game. Like you said, the amount of times that they shoot something and they're like, "Man, that should have killed it." And in my head, I'm just like, maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, it's like, you actually crunch the numbers and you find out, wow, actually, this unit is not that efficient into that. The amount of times I've come
Yes.
across that is just wild. So, and that was a source of disappointment for my opponents looking at a unit that in the lore should be able to kill its target, right? I mean, bolters are supposed to be these super powerful, explosive rounds that can just tear through armor like nothing. But the reality is it's actually one of the weakest weapons in the game. So, it's
Yeah.
only good into certain targets, and if, you're going up against something that it's not good against, you're going to have a bad time, you know. So,
Yeah.
having that, I think, can also having something like this in a player's back pocket can, enhance their experience and enjoyment of the game because they can get a better understanding of what's actually going to be good against the targets they shoot at. So they don't just wind up, oh, why didn't I kill that unit? I should have killed it, right?
Yeah. And one feature that was added for exactly this reason, and was requested as well, is this idea of a confidence level. So initially, when I launched the app, it just had average, but that doesn't give you a very good idea of what might actually happen, because if something on average is going to do 10 damage, that means some of the time, 50% of the time, it's going to do less than 10 damage. So in a deck roll, you can change the confidence level to say 80%, which then tells you 80% of the times that this simulation was run, we we got 5 damage, and then that gives you a much more uh, a better idea of what will happen, because it means if you don't roll hot, then you can still expect this result. Um, because often you might think, oh, I hit on fours on average, winning on fours on average, but it doesn't always play out like that. And you might be better going, well, I can confidently say I'm going to kill this many rather than say on average I'm going to kill, you know, more. I'm not really explaining that very well, but do you see what I mean? It's
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
confidence level. It gives you more confidence, I guess, is the
Right.
best way of putting
Yeah,
it.
no, because the variability of dice is, random, right? So like, you know, um, it may say 10 damage average on the app or, when you do the work on the calculator, but the reality is dice are not, There is no 3.5, right?
Yeah.
So it's either going to be a 3 or a 4, and that can drastically change the math over a couple of rolls. So
Yes.
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. I personally think the app is excellent, and I've given you good feedback on the app, and I know that other people have, because I know you've done a couple of other videos here and there, trying to, get people, the community, to know about this. But what has the initial user feedback from the app? Uh, well, how was it?
Uh, Overall, good. I think there's been a lot of feedback in terms of usability, and now it's getting to the point where um, it's just refining it and making sure that the things that are added are useful for everyone, and it streamlines it for everyone, and it's not just sort of ticking the boxes for a few people. There has been some negativity, as with anything that you put out into the public domain for people to consume or use, and that's mainly to do with it being a competitive app, and it costing money, which things cost money, and
Well,
I
absolutely.
don't know how I don't know how many hours I've put into this, and late nights, and my partner as well. So yeah, but overall it's been really good, and it continues to grow, and people continue to give feedback to improve it. The confidence value level was one of those things, and that I've got, there's lots more still to come with it. But yeah, overall it's been really good, and I'm enjoying doing it. I'm enjoying talking to people about it. I'm enjoying talking to you about it, and hearing ideas off people and implementing new features. Um, yeah, it's exciting, and it's kind of interesting because there isn't anything else like this, and it's interesting to see where this might go, because it's quite a unique position, I think.
Yeah. I'd actually love to see this become the standard app that everybody uses for their, competitive or casual Warhammer 40K games. Honestly.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be really good. Um, yeah, and who knows? Who knows? Because I think that 40k is not going away. The way that Games Workshop's going with the rule set and with the story and the IP, it's getting bigger. It's getting more popular. So
Right.
yeah, I'm excited for the future of it.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely the most successful tabletop game in the world. I mean, as far as miniature wargaming, right? And I'm not just saying that to because I love 40K. I've played other war games, and this is by far the one that's stayed around the longest, and is consistently growing. So you're definitely going to
Yeah,
see more players, wanting to play. And the other thing is even new players. Like I get new players on my channel and Discord all the time talking about, well, do you have some advice about this, or what unit should I pick and stuff like that. And an app like this can really start to inform players as well, about what things they should start including in their armies. So
yes,
honestly, hats off to you. I think this is a great thing that you've done. I think it's really great for the community overall. Of course, you're going to have people that are, negative about it, but there's people that are literally negative about anything. I mean, as
yeah,
somebody who's done YouTube videos, man, I've made videos that are like rather positive about certain things. You always get that one or two people like that are critical of it.
yes,
It's just it is what it is. It's human nature, I guess. Um,
yes. Uh,
so
and if any of your listeners or viewers use it and they have feedback, and whether that's critical or positive, then by all means reach out. There's a help section on the app that has loads of different ways of getting in touch. So um,
right.
yeah, I think the main it's when people when people are negative and they have absolutely nothing else to say, is when it's the hardest, because there's nothing there to build on.
Right.
But people have had negative things to say about it, but they've gone, yeah, it'd be really good if it worked like this, and then I've gone and improved things. So yeah, but I'm always looking for feedback, and yeah, I'm working on it every day,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
changing things every day and updating things every day. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. You've worked hard on it and you deserve any income you make from it. Absolutely. Honestly, I know you, full disclosure, you did give me access to this app for free. So
yes,
I could try it out. Uh, Honestly though, I would honestly pay for it. It's that good, you know. Yes, I got it for free, but after using it, I would gladly pay the £4, $5, basically US, um, to use this application. It's really good. And that's
yeah,
for a year. It's not like it's per month or anything like that, right? It's for a whole year of
yeah,
being able to use the app, which is
yeah,
awesome. So yeah.
and the reason why I did it like that is because the game is always changing. There's new rules, there's data sheets. There's going to be 11th edition at some point. So that's the reason why it's structured like that, is because I can continue to develop it and continue adding things to it. Yeah, one thing that I'd like to talk about that I'm adding, which is um, I don't want to say game changer, but is voice dictation. So you can talk to it and say, I want Lemurus Demolisher with +1 to hit, reroll hits, attacking a Space Marine Rhino, and it goes and it populates the app for you, and then you just hit simulate, and
Wow.
it will run it. So that's a pro feature. But I think that is going to be it's a good accessibility thing for people that struggle with user interfaces, and it's makes it accessible for everyone, because you can talk
Right.
to it and describe what you want, and it will go and make sense of it and give you back what you want. So I'm excited about that. It's not out at the time of recording, but hopefully by the time this gets out, it will be out or nearly out. Yeah,
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I love that idea. And partially because, I do work with people, students who are dyslexic and have trouble reading numbers and stuff like that. Numbers can start to swirl around after a little bit if somebody doesn't, has trouble with that kind of stuff. So that would be fantastic if there was some sort of voice dictation. I know quite a few people in the Discord and elsewhere, who would be happy to, have something like that. That's awesome, dude.
thanks. And even if I've updated it so that you can use that free for like I think it's 3 times, and the same with the import. So before starting like the 7-day free trial, you can give those things a go, and hopefully you use them and go, oh wow, that's really useful. You can also import using like Battlescribe or new recruit lists, and you can also import using photos or pictures. So if you take a photo of your codex, you could then put it into a deck roll, and a deck roll will make sense of the photo and give you
Wow.
your profile based on that photo. Yeah,
That
so
is
lots of
really
ways
cool.
to get lots of ways to get data in there, which is one of the hardest things I think to do with Mathammer, because some units you've got those base stats of attacks and ballistic skill, but then some units, when you get into sustained hits and all these extra things, it's quite laborious to do those things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's much harder than it looks to just sit down on a pen and paper and do it with a calculator. I tried. Hands to
Yeah,
God, I tried, man. In ninth edition, I was doing it, and it was funny because I would do this like math hammer, this napkin math, and I'd put it up on the channel, and I'd always get that mathematician in the comment section saying, "Dude, you got your math wrong. Actually, it's this."
yeah,
And
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just
It's
like,
fine.
I was like, did I get it wrong? I'm a math teacher. How could I possibly get it wrong? And I do it again, and I'm like, by God, I did get it wrong. He's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's fine up to a point. When you've got when you're hitting on threes, you're like, oh yeah, hitting on threes. That's 66% is gonna hit, and then I'm wounding on fours. That's 50%. Oh, but then I'm re-rolling ones, and then you need to factor that in. Oh, but then they have they have a 2+ save and I'm AP2, so they've got a 4+ armor save, but then they've got feel no pain, and then all of a sudden your pen and paper maths is it falls apart, and yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if the wider community had a better understanding of Mathammer, there'd be less like frustration in the game as well. Like I tell people all the time, you shouldn't care what the dice roll because the more the more frustrated you get at bad rolls, the worse your experience is going to be.
Yeah,
And the best thing to
yeah,
do is just laugh at it, chalk it up to the dice gods, and just say, you know what? Hopefully the next roll's better. That's it.
yeah,
You can't get frustrated at it because at the end of the day, you can do all this math hammer and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just random chance. You could
yeah,
roll 5 6s or you could roll 5 1s. I recently had a game where totally out of the blue, a Zerman, the Phoenix Lord, just rolls 5 6s on his mini feat turn against a Mutalith Vortex Beast and just wipes it off the board. There's no chance that that happens on average dice, and on average dice, he probably does like 3 damage,
yeah, yeah,
but he
yeah.
ends up
It's
doing
nice when it
like,
happens, though.
yeah, he ends up like doing quadruple the amount of damage. Yeah, it's absolutely awesome when it happens, but you shouldn't expect it. And I think like if
No,
I was sitting there as a, if I'm going into the mindset of a new player, if I did that in my first game with the guy and then I expected that performance every other game, I'd get quite frustrated after a while because that would never happen again.
yes,
And I would be very
yeah.
sad.
Playing Astral Militarum that I do, it you get that you can get real swings with Lemurus Demolisher because it's D6+3. Some games you can roll, you get 9 attacks, most of them hit, and you destroy something which you didn't expect to destroy. The next game you roll 1 on that dice and you get 4 attacks, and then they all miss, and so
Right.
you yeah, and so you and I think, yeah, the adept role probably help people understand that swinginess between those, especially with attack dice, of how that's going to affect things. The other thing it does is it tells you with and without the results with and without modifiers, so you can see what would happen without the modifiers that you've applied, which then gives you a better understanding of what happens when you do have those modifiers.
Right. Yeah, and I mean we're coming into a game state right now with just tons of modifiers, even more than before, just with Chaos Knights and Thousand Suns and Death Guard. So it's going to be especially important for people to really know their math hammer a little bit better, so that they can, more accurately judge what they can deal to enemy units or what they should be doing to enemy units.
Yeah,
Right, so they have a good expectation of what units to take and stuff like that. Not that
yeah,
that's a
100%.
guarantee by any means, but that they're a little bit more informed about what certain things do. Obviously, I want to be able to put something in the description of this video to kind of lead people to Adept Roll. Do you have a website or do you have some sort of kind of link that we can kind of direct people to check it out?
Yeah, so there's adeptroll.com, which is a fairly basic site, but it does have links on there to the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. Or you can go to either of those stores and type in probably Mathammer or Adept Roll, and it will be, I think, probably the first result. Yeah, and we can put the individual links to the Google Play Store and Apple Store in the description as well, so people can head there. But it should be pretty easy to find. Yeah,
Perfect, man. Perfect. And what I'll do is for you guys listening out there, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put that in the description. So you can just click on that link. You can get right to the Adept Roll website and you can download it from there. And I'll leave it up on future videos as well so that, people can, check it out whenever they want. Thank you so much, Jake. Is there anything else that you want to discuss about the app or any kind of future plans or anything like that you have for it?
um, yes, there's one thing, but I also want to say thank you very much for having me on, and it's been great to talk about it. And I hope your listeners and viewers enjoy it, and I look forward to hearing nice things, hopefully, from some of them. One thing that is coming is badges and achievements. So you can there's going to be an area where you can see all your stats that you've run in a dead roll, how many simulations you've run, how many dead models you've done, how many hits, how many say wounds, so you can have an idea of what you've achieved in your Mathammer journey. And then there's also achievements which are hidden, um, and you won't know you've done them until you've done them. So they are things like destroy a unit with 10 or more wounds with a single attack. So that might be a railgun, but you won't know you've done that until it pops up and goes, "You've achieved this thing." So it's sort of gamifying
Oh my
Mathammer
gosh.
and giving you a bit more interaction. But
It's
there's
the
27 achievements, and I've only told you one, but they are things like that.
it's the platinum
Yeah,
trophy of Warhammer.
yeah,
We're
and some
going
of them I
we're
think.
going PS5 on this one, boys.
Yeah, well, that's the inspiration. I've not had a console for a long time, but when I had my Xbox 360, those achievements were something else, and the hidden ones were always more interesting. And so I've made them all hidden. But when you get one, you'll go, "Oh, what's this?" And then you'll see that you've unlocked one, and then you'll see there's others that are hidden, and then you'll go, "Ah, these are." What are these other ones? And I don't know if anyone will ever find them all, but they are all sort of interesting and play on things that are uh, in the game and memes that are well known. So yeah, bit of fun in there.
Oh, that's great, man. That's absolutely great, dude. You'll have to do something about that, man. That's gonna have to be some sort of like later on down the road when, um, somebody actually does achieve all these things. We're gonna have to like get that guy on the channel, man. We're gonna have to talk about that.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
yes, yeah, yeah. And the other thing, people do love this app because some people have used it like 2,000 times. They've clicked that simulate button 2,000 times. So they've run that many Mathhammer simulations on the app. So yeah, it's people take it quite seriously. But it is great to have people use it. And yeah,
Yeah, it's and again, once again, it's a great app, dude. I wouldn't have scheduled this if it wasn't. I wouldn't have had you on the channel if it wasn't like the best Math Hammer thing I've ever used in my life, honestly. So thank you so much for your great work. It was a pleasure to have you on the channel, to be honest. Thank you for having the time to come on. And once again, to all the listeners out there, subscribers, and just viewers, check it out. Honestly, I wouldn't lie about this. I'm not one of those corporate shills that's peddling. This is really because I like the app. I wouldn't do that to the community. So definitely check it out. It's really awesome and it'll help you in your games. Thank you so much, Jake, for coming on, and I'll see you next time.
thank you very much.
All right. Have a good one, Jake, and have a good one, everybody out there. I'll see you later.